suit your went for coffee in the middle of the night. Just head back to the cabin. Avoid eye contact.
Sie können den Kaffee auf den Tisch abstellen. Es ist harmlos. Stellen Sie den Kaffee auf den Tisch ab. Augenblick mal. Lassen Sie sich mal ansehen. Ja. Sehr schöne arische Züge. Findest du nicht auch, Bobi?
Ja, mir gefallen seine Augen.
Bitte, setzen Sie sich. Entschuldigen Sie mein Benehmen. Ich bin Obersturmbannführer Engel. Und das ist mein liebreizender Begleiter. Das bist du doch, Bobi.
Das ist mein Schatze.
Ich möchte Sie einem Test unterziehen. Damit lassen sich Spuren unreinen Blutes, die in den Adern einer Person fließen, feststellen. Ich bin mir sicher, dass Sie diesen Test mit Leichtigkeit bestehen werden. Und wenn nicht, dann werde ich Sie erschießen. Haben Sie das verstanden? Das ist nur ein Test! Aber antworten Sie ehrlich. Wenn Sie nach der Waffe greifen sollten, sind Sie tot. Noch bevor Sie Ihre Entscheidung bereuen werden. Gut. Lasst uns anfangen! Wählen Sie das Foto, das Sie erregt. Wenn Sie wissen, was ich meine. Ach so. Und jetzt wählen Sie das Foto, das in Ihnen Glücksgefühle auslöst. Interessant. Meinen Sie, dass dieser Mann unreines Blut hat, Bernhard?
Ich weiß nicht, Frau Obersturmbannführer.
Ja, das werden wir bald wissen, nicht wahr? Diesmal wählen Sie das Bild, das Sie am meisten mit Abscheu erfüllt. Ich hätte sagen sollen, dass das Ihre letzte Wahl ist. Also wählen Sie weise.
Hello everyone, it's Leon here, and I'm joined by David Houghton of Games Radar. Is it Houghton or Houghton?
It's Horton.
Horton, sorry, yes.
Option door number 3.
Anyway, of Games Radar, who has played the latest build of Wolfenstein. I played an old build a little while ago, I loved it. You've now played 3 new levels.
Yes, comprised maybe the first 2 or 3 hours, the prologue and the first chunk in the kind of later 60s section.
So what are we seeing here? This is fairly arty for...
Yeah, it is rather. The storytelling is actually really good in this game, despite being so graphically excessive in all ways. Effectively, at this point, you're past the World War II prologue, you've taken a head injury, you're waking up in an asylum. You've no idea how long you've been there, you're in a quite dreamlike state.
Yeah.
Towards the end of that sequence, Nazis burst in, they're clearly taking patients to nefarious experiments on. As things kick off, you start becoming more and more aware, remembering who you are, and that killing Nazis is your job. And then you suddenly kill a Nazi on instinct, and it is on.
It's on, yeah. I mean, so I've not played the new stuff, but the old stuff I played, I loved it. It's it's violence, almost like Carry On. Violence,
it's
like heads popping, dual wielding, ridiculously sized guns.
It is like a graphical lower. It's so cartoonishly, gleefully, stupidly gory, but at the same time, it never loses any sense of quite serious impact.
Yeah.
And the thing I find really interesting as I've been playing more Wolfenstein is it is so cartoonishly, ridiculously proper 90s excessive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it still has a really quite hard-hitting, sober tone to the whole thing as well.
It does do a good job, I think, of trying to sort of recreate that kind of the insanity of running around Wolfenstein with a chain gun.
Yeah, you can dual-wield everything, you know.
And it looks like a better job of... Is it Rise of the Triads? Which, the remake of that, I don't think quite...
I think Rise of the Triad was it was really fun, but it was so firmly set in kind of let's just recreate 90s excess.
Yeah.
And almost became a parody of it in a weird sort of way.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's got that like insane level of carnage to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it tempers it with some kind of modern design brains as well, so it feels a bit more legitimate.
Okay, so now this is the prologue, isn't it? So this is when it's still set in World War II before we move into the 60s, which is where the main game takes place. So this is kind of like the bridge between classic World War II Wolfenstein and the sort of the not modern setting, but the later setting.
Yeah, it kind of establishes the general gameplay model within a familiar Wolfenstein, you know, old ancient Nazi castle setting.
Big castle, big guns. Do we know what are the flashy backpacks they've got on? They've all got like lightning.
Well, at this point, I think it's an alternate World War II. I think it starts in 1946 rather than 45. So obviously the war's gone on a year too long anyway. So not because Nazi tech has started increasing to a kind of slightly steampunk degree. So.
Okay, so you storm the castle. This is where you take your head injury, and then you sleep it out until the 60s. By which point the Nazis have won,
taken over the entire world. Yeah, it's not. There's not even a resistance. You're told early on, like you wake up and be like, "Where's the resistance?" Like there isn't a resistance.
Yeah,
they've literally won. You know, it's the world are Nazis now.
And there's that lovely trailer, isn't it, showing Nazis in all the key sort of moments of history, the World War II kiss, the Nazis landing on the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a great line, I'm going to have to bleep this out, but there's a great line when you go to the museum celebrating all the Nazis' kind of achievements, and one of them, which is landing on the moon, and Blastovich kind of goes, "F you, moon," and shoots the moon.
It's like it's strange that it keeps that sort of really cartoonish tone, but at the same time the dramatic stuff really kind of hits quite hard as well. Yeah, because as much as the Nazis haven't taken over the world, it's a stock kind of alternate universe cliche, but his process of realisation of what the world's like for a few levels after that is actually really quite affecting.
So we saw like a Nazi dog there. We're still in kind of like classic Wolfenstein territory. When we move to the 60s, are there any what are the sort of the upgrades we get in terms of tech and
mechs for a start?
Right.
They've not stuck to 60s tech. They've kind of accelerated massively for various reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got more kind of electrical lightning weapons. I think there's
every time my head explodes, I sort of feel I want to laugh and then feel bad about it at the same time.
I know, 'cause it's like but yeah, it's really strange. So yeah, you've got
mechs.
Obviously, you got Nazis have got mechs. There's chain guns. There's all the kind of it starts encroaching more into your more sci-fi kind of shooter weaponry. Still got a quite clunky kind of not really nice heavy 60s. Almost steampunky feel to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, things escalate quite hard at that point, like really rapidly as well.
And it's machine games as well, which don't have much of a history, really.
Well, none really. I mean, this is the first game as machine games.
Right.
But if you go further back, it's some of the ex-Starbreeze guys who've done a lot of great stuff. Of the Chronicles of Riddick, it was amazing.
All the Starbreeze sort of guys have gone on to do sort of interesting things.
Interesting
really,
stuff, and obviously there's the Darkness as well, the first one anyway. And there's definitely a big Starbreeze stamp on it.
It looks, it looks lovely as well.
It's gorgeous.
You're starting to see a lot more games now where you realise the first wave of next gen stuff is
finally petering out. And now we're actually getting next gen. Yeah.
We saw a mech there. It says, there's a mech here.
A gigantic one.
So you can take them down, you were saying?
Yeah, again, this is World War II stuff.
Right.
This is when you first start realising how bad it's got and what the Nazis have actually got.
Yeah.
It's like a sort of Normandy beach landing with 100-foot Godzilla mechs, basically. Yeah, and the first missions, you work your way around this huge base, taking out... basically, you've got to take out the gun emplacements.
Yeah.
But as an optional thing, you can use the gun emplacements to take down the mechs if you want to.
Right.
It doesn't tell you can. Classic bit of Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
kind of behind the portrait stuff there.
There's a museum as well, isn't there? Where it's got like gold plates and things in it. You can steal. Yeah,
it is massively authentic in terms of levels. Well, that's the point I was going to come on to actually. The mech stuff, you can take them out optionally if you want to. You don't have to. But along the way, just exploring the beaches and the bunkers and the gun emplacements, you'll find there's a brilliant non-linearity to the level design now.
Okay.
I say now, it's almost like old school Wolfenstein in a way.
Yeah,
Where
all
a
the
lot of the time, you'll think you're going on the wrong path. I go, hang on, is this the optional bit? Whereas you're so used to having games now having like an optional path that goes like 3 feet along, and you get back and a move back. But these things go on for miles, and you're like, which is the right way anymore? I'm not even sure.
That's cool.
But it turns out they've got genuine, massive, non-linear levels with optional objectives all over the place.
Sweet. This is the Resistance that he bands together.
Oh no, this is World War II again.
Oh, we're still in World War II.
This is towards the end of the World War II bit.
Right.
When you stumble, you realise how eldritch it's really got.
Yeah.
And stumble upon.
Do we know what these are being used for?
Unpleasantness in general. You don't strictly find out. This guy's the lead Nazi
This is
general.
Death Head, isn't it? Yeah.
Death's Head, yeah. He's obviously got the Joker grin. He looks like a skull.
Yeah.
He's doing all the nasty biomechanical engineering stuff. Presumably, I don't know yet, but presumably his stealing of mental patients in the 60s is as a continuation of this.
Experiment.
Yeah, I mean, he's building these mecha troopers along the way. They're obviously. This guy is back to the 60s though. This is the current leader of the Nazis who you interrogate to find your first bit of information.
And you were saying they really set this scene up because they make you find the apron, make you find the goggles,
it's so deliciously methodical in how long it draws out. The kind of chainsaw, use it. No, get goggles first. Now turn me.
But I mean, I really like what I've seen so far. You think the good stuff? The new stuff's good.
It's ballsy, it's ridiculous, but it's really smart as well.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
I'm sure. I don't know what you're talking about. Nazi scum.
You've stayed with us for 14 years.
The Nazis rule the world now.
I'll find the resistance. I'll find them and I'll help them fight.
B.J. Blazkowicz.
I thought I was a goner. And here you are, back from the dead. Ready to set things straight, Wyatt.
We are finally strong enough to strike at the operations. The days of scurrying like rats are over.
General Death's Head is nearer to us now than he's been in years. We eliminate the General, we cut the head off the crowd war machine.
There's one more thing. It's quite critical.
I like you, such a resilient specimen.
Let me tell you how this is gonna work. I'm gonna ask you one question. You are gonna answer that question in a way I find satisfactory, and if you do not, I will saw your head off with this here appliance, you hear me?
Zur Hölle mit dir, deinem verdammten Widerstand!
Boom, 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 boom. Ich schieß dich einfach ab. Leg dich einfach flach. Nimm dich mit zu mir. Steck dich in mein Haus. Boom, 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 boom.
So much has changed. I've been gone for too long. They beat us to the bone. No one knows how. The world was forced into submission. They took our freedom. took centuries to build. They terrorized the world with their power. Enslaved millions. Uprisings. Rebellions. Resistance. Crushed beneath an iron boot. They're stealing our future. Flaunting their might. They think the war is over. But they're dead wrong.